shooting started. That's just that's so unfortunate. So unfortunate that happened. And just thinking that it was going to work and that this was going to happen. It was unfortunate that it didn't, and it's disappointing. But
can you hear me?
Joining me now is, yes, I can hear you, Dustin Hoyt, and everybody else can hear you. That would be Dustin Hoyt from America Our Way here on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Vigilant Liberty Radio. Dustin, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to be here.
Boston Randy in the chat room just said, "Hi, Skype." Yes, we all say we all say hello. Boy, did you see that the comments about the botched raid in Yemen and how that all fell apart, unfortunately?
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of expect things from this administration to be botched and badly done. And I think he's been in office long enough to have that extend into the military a little bit. I'm never surprised.
It's really unfortunate.
It is, and it's a sad situation. I know it seems like I'm making light, but I'm really not. I'm not surprised. I am disappointed and saddened by it, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it's nice that they, attempted to rescue him.
Agreed. Honestly, that's my worst nightmare, because as many of you know, who know me, my family lives in the Middle East. A lot of them, my parents anyway, and that's my big nightmare, is that if something like that were to ever happen, and I'd have to count on somebody to go get them. I mean, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah. It's really sad. Boy, people are having fun with this photo online of Joe Biden looking forlornly out of the White House window. Have you seen this photo?
I have not. I'll have to look at that.
He's looking forlornly out of that. One of the best one I ever saw. There were a couple that I've seen. One is I put $5,000 on the Badgers that at Easy Cure tweeted. The other one that Sonny Wright put out was, "That squirrel is back. I think he likes me. I shall call him Bob, and he shall be my friend." Wait, he's leaving.
Too funny.
You have to be willing to have fun with stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, I when I had Photoshop, that was one of my all-time favorite things to do, was just find great pictures of people in the administration or on the left and just see what I could do with them.
Yeah, Brian in the chat room did point out something, is that, stuff happens in those situations where, they're trying to rescue someone.
Agreed, and I'm not disparaging our guys in the armed forces at all. I didn't mean it to sound that way if it did. And, stuff goes wrong and it's a high-risk operation to begin with. I don't expect much of anything out of the administration, is all I'm saying. I think the majority of the problems when it comes to raids and military operations like that happen because of intelligence issues, because of planning issues. And I don't think that's any stain on our very fantastic, highly trained killing machines that we are privileged to call the U.S. military.
I just think it's disappointing that it happened.
I agree, 100%. I probably should not.
I think it's great they tried.
Agreed. I do think that's admirable. So you got to, credit where credit's due, right?
And it's a lot better than some of the, what they were apparently thinking about doing with some of the other hostages that were out there. I mean, wasn't there? I keep forgetting which journalist family it was who wanted to, pay the ransom And
Foley?
I think it was Foley.
It was the first one that was executed.
Yeah, it was Foley. They wanted to pay the ransom, and they wouldn't let them.
Right, we don't negotiate with terrorists, except when we negotiate with terrorists.
Negotiate with terrorists, yeah. Yeah, we'll kind of forget that part, right?
Right, yeah. We'll just pretend that we don't trade high-level organizers from Al-Qaeda out of Guantanamo Bay to get what we want. We'll forget about that.
Yeah.
Because your family member, it is what it is.
Yeah. Or exchange arms for hostages.
Oh, yes. Oh, you're getting me started. It's good old government doing what good old government does best, self-serving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Horrible reality.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So, boy, it's funny. I was just looking. I happened to be looking at ESPN because I was still shocked, and I'm serious, very shocked that the Dallas Stars won tonight. But
yeah,
we won't go there. But apparently, and actually, it's not apparently. I'm staring at the photo from USA Today Sports. Derrick Rose warmed up with an "I Can't Breathe" T-shirt before tonight's game against the Golden State Warriors. Derrick Rose is a player for the Chicago Bulls, and point guard, I think, for the Chicago Bulls. Very talented player. He's had knee issues, which is unfortunate. But he made a statement by donning the by showing the shirt. What was kind of your opinion about the entire situation involving Eric Gardner? Because I personally thought the cop should have been indicted. That's just my personal opinion. I thought he should have been indicted because I thought that, whether it was a chokehold or not a chokehold, and I've seen the debate on Facebook. I've seen the debate on Twitter. But I thought he should have been indicted because Gardner did get strangled to death.
Exactly. It blows my mind that there's even still a discussion about it. There is one piece of evidence that decides whether or not the death is somebody's fault, and that's the coroner's decision. So when the coroner comes back and says, this guy died, it was a homicide, then it's not up for debate whether or not, his fat neck got in the way, or maybe he shouldn't have been so out of shape. It absolutely kills me. The bottom line is, he is dead because somebody choked him to death. And that's where the conversation begins.
Well, I will say this. A lot of stuff does get classified as a homicide that's not a homicide. Like, in the end, they're like, yeah, it was a justified...
All a homicide means is that somebody killed somebody else. That's all a homicide means. It's not like murder. They plotted to take his life because of things. No, it's you can have justifiable homicide, unintentional homicide. I mean, it can be an accident, but your actions cause someone to die. And
I know there's going to be someone out there who is probably going to say, "Oh, wait, you're just a cop hater, Taylor. You just hate cops." No. What folks don't realize is, for the longest time, I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be a police officer. That's what I wanted my career to be, either in the military or as a cop. And I was not able to do that due to physical limitations. I have a bad back, that sort of thing. I was not able to be a police officer. And it sucked because I really wanted to be one. It drives me nuts that I can't be one.
That's okay, Taylor. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Virtual hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can dismiss anybody that's going to call you out like that because, I mean, an argument presented without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So,
now, and Boston Randy in the chat room said, does it mean that he should have been convicted? Well, it would depend on, and again, this is pure speculation. It depends on what he was charged with. If you're talking manslaughter, you'd have to look at the other stuff that you'd look at the evidence they presented to make that decision.
Right, and exactly, and that's the difference. Like, a lot of people get the grand jury thing confused. They think a grand jury means somebody's guilty, and that's how court of public opinion works, like you were talking about earlier with the rape stuff. Once somebody comes out as accused, everybody's like, oh, so this guy murdered someone. And that's not how it works. All that the grand jury indictment meant that he would go to a courtroom and the evidence would be presented to a jury. That's all it means.
Yeah.
So it's not even saying he's guilty. It's not even saying he should be convicted. It's saying they should take a look at this and let people decide if he was guilty, or decide that if he needs to pay the price to society, and I hate using the S word, for taking someone's life. Should he be held accountable for taking someone's life, or whatever charges there are? So, it's not even, should this man go to jail? It's, should this man go to court and face a jury for what happened?
Yeah, and this is, and I'm someone who, before somebody goes, oh, you cop hater, I'm someone who did not think the Ferguson thing, I thought the grand jury made the right call there, based on the evidence that we knew was out there.
Yeah, I go back and forth on Ferguson just a little bit, but
it's a sad situation,
Yeah, the only part that gives me pause on the Ferguson thing is I didn't mean to do that just now.
The only thing that gives
I go
you
back
pause.
and forth. I go back and forth because when I see the pictures of Darren Wilson and he's talking about, or they show the pictures of his supposed injuries, I'm like, where's the black eye? Where's the bloody nose? Where's the bruises? I see like a 5 o'clock shadow, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of worries me when they're like, oh, he was beating the crud out of him, like with Zimmerman. At least Zimmerman had like a busted up head from Trayvon, whereas with this case, not so much.
It's a tough call.
Exactly. And like I said, it makes me question, like, it's not beyond reasonable doubt is all I'm saying. With Ferguson.
Yeah, and I can see the point there. I still think that they made the right call. Personally, I think they made the right call. If he had been indicted, though, you know what my opinion would have been? It was like, it doesn't mean he's guilty.
Exactly, and that's all I'm saying, is like, it's the lack of indictment that's making people mad. It's not the lack of conviction, it's not the lack of jail time, although there are those people out there. It's the fact that these people don't even have to stand trial.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that people have this notion, this conception that police are not held to the same standards as average people, and especially as average black people. And I think that's what a lot of that hashtag stuff was about over the week. Criming while white and alive while black, that kind of thing. I know a lot of people took the mickey out of it, but if you read some of them, it was compelling, I believe. And if you've ever been in a situation where you've seen it happen or experienced it, if you've got a black friend that you've been out in public with and you've seen it happen, it's pretty rough. It makes you think.
The story I like to tell was, I took a friend of mine. I used to role-play mm-hmm. gaming, Dungeons and Dragons, basically, to put it. To make people realize it wasn't Dungeons and Dragons, but it was like that. And I was driving a friend of mine home because he didn't have a car, and it was like 2 a.m. and or something like that. And his dad was awake, and he was like, yeah, you. I was like, I was like, yeah, you mind if I go get a grab like a soda or something like that, or something like that. He was like, no, I'll go get it and I'll bring it out. I was like, I can go in, I don't mind. He's like, no, my dad's awake. You don't want to? I was like, why not? He goes,